Are you Gen Z? You're between 15 and 26 years old and you really want to make it in this economy? Well, I'm going to show you how Gen Z can become rich investing in real estate. You probably think the game is rigged against you, don't you? Because you're Gen Z, you haven't even got a job yet. I'm just joking, but the point is you probably think that because of your circumstances, you're probably not ready to buy a property. Although 72% of Gen Z plan on buying a home in the next 6 years, and yet nearly 80% of them think that they can only afford a home that costs $200,000 or less. And we all know that the median price of a home in America is $348,000, so they probably think it's impossible. Well, it is possible for you to buy a property these days, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it. The first principle you need to understand is creative financing. And what is that? Well, that means doing things that are creative, that are out of the ordinary. Now, most people, when they buy a home, they get a mortgage, they qualify for it, they put a large down payment. That's the way it's normally done. That's the retail way of buying real estate. But the creative way is to find highly motivated sellers who don't need the traditional kinds of assets that a beginning real estate investor needs in order to buy that property. I'm looking for a highly motivated seller who might be willing to do one of two things. Either they're willing to carry some of the financing against that property so the down payment can be lower, or they'll actually be the bank and they'll finance the entire thing for you. Now, why would anybody do that? Well, that's why it's creative. It's a very small, narrow sliver of people that will do that. Most people won't. But I'm looking for a highly motivated seller that's got a problem. They need to sell quickly. Maybe they're going through a divorce. Maybe they've been transferred to another city, whatever. They are more flexible. And therefore, make sure you understand that if you're willing to look, if you're willing to search, if you're willing to put in the time, you can find a property like that. It might be more expensive than maybe you could afford, but maybe you could rent out the basement. You could have some other of your Gen Z friends take up bedrooms around it to help you buy it. There's just so many ways for you to get involved in this game, and creative financing is your key. So if you don't have the down payment to get into a piece of real estate, where are you getting that down payment? You're using creative financing. And another word that you're going to hear a lot of is OPM, other people's money. Actually, it's OPR, other people's resources. Maybe you do have a down payment, but you don't have good credit. Well, you can borrow somebody else's credit. You can borrow other people's equities and their real estate deals. You can borrow their mortgage qualifications. There's just all kinds of other resources you can bring into the deal. But remember that those three letters right there, OPM, extremely important. Now there are 50 ways, 50 nothing down techniques for how you can cobble together the down payment to get yourself involved in the game. And that's the hardest part, just to get in the game. Because if you don't get in the game, you know what's going to happen. 5 years from now, properties are going to go up another 20, 30%, sometimes double. If you wait, you really won't be able to afford it 5 years from now. So you've got to get in this game right now using OPM. Owner financing. Why would an owner finance their property? Don't you need to go to a mortgage company to finance it or a bank to finance it? Well, some sellers are willing to owner finance. And there are three fundamental pieces to this game. There's a seller carryback. What does that mean? That means they have equity in the property, and rather than getting it in cash, they're willing to allow you to send them monthly payments over a period of time. Maybe they'd rather have the monthly payments than getting a chunk of cash. That's called seller carryback. Now, lease option is another technique where instead of buying it, you lease it from that owner with an option to buy it eventually down the road at a maybe a little bit higher price. This is a very fabulous way for beginners to get into the game through a lease option. And remember, we talked about OPM. That's private investors. Investors who like to lend money to real estate investors. They make good rates of return by lending money to investors to get themselves into the real estate game. I'm a partner in a business that does exactly that. You find a great deal, we'll lend you 100% of it. But I'm just one person out of thousands who do this. That's called private investments. So these three fundamental ways for you to get involved with the game give you hope. You do have hope that the real estate game is not out of your league. It's ready for you to pick the fruit off that tree and get in the game as fast as you can. What are some other ways that you can access OPM? Well, there are 4 fundamental ways. A bridge loan is where a bank will actually lend you money under the assumption that you're going to buy it, do some fix-up to it, and eventually get long-term financing to bridge yourself from one property to a better property, right? You can get a private money loan. You got family members who will lend you money. You've got friends that will lend you money. If you're looking for the money, you're going to find it. A hard money lender is usually a financial institution that specifically focuses and targets real estate investors, and they don't look at your financing. They don't look at your strength. If you find a property that's a bargain property that you're going to fix up and increase its value, these private hard money lenders who charge you higher rates of interest, they do, but they'll lend it to you based upon the strength of the property and not yourself. In fact, they won't even look at your finances. They look at the deal. Is it a good enough deal if we lend against this property and the loan isn't paid back? If we take the property back, is there enough equity in it for the financial hard money lender to win? And so this is a fabulous way to get started, although the interest rates are higher, no doubt about that. Now, a joint equity venture is okay, so you can't do it all by yourself. So you bring other partners in with you. Sometimes you have a partner who has good financial credit. In a deal that I did, a 12-unit apartment building that I did, I couldn't qualify for that large apartment loan, so I had a friend of mine who had strong financials. And I said to him, guess what? I've found this property. It's nothing down, except we need a brand new loan, which I can't qualify for. Stan, will you qualify for me? And for that, you get 50% ownership in this nothing down deal. Therefore, I joint ventured with somebody else, got into the deal, eventually bought him out, and made a very nice profit. So all of these are other ways for you to access OPM. There is always a way. There's always a solution for you. Never give up hope, because if you look long enough and hard enough with the right kinds of information I'm sharing with you, you can make this happen. How do you get started? This is what you'll do. You'll click on the link down below and get this book that I'm giving to you for free. Why did I do this? Well, it's my purpose in life to help people get into the real estate game. If they want to be financially free, there is no faster way for you to do it. I wrote this book based upon the fact that some of the people in this book had no money, no cash, no credit. This book is almost written for Gen Z. This is the book that'll show you how to get into the game ASAP. Click on the link, read this book, and you'll be on your way to financial freedom faster than you ever thought possible.